electric field vector vibrates in all directions. How we represent unpolarized light? In summer లో మనం ఏం చేస్తాం, కూలింగ్ గ్లాస్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం. ఆ కూలింగ్ గ్లాసెస్ దట్ ఆర్ నథింగ్ బట్ వాట్ polarized. If we are using that polarized glasses, we feel cool. How? It absorbs, it restricts. Here what is polarization? Restricting the vibrations of light waves to one plane. What is unpolarized light? Unpolarized light is represented by dots with double-headed arrows. Dots with double-headed arrows. It is unpolarized light. Natural light is the unpolarized light. Electric field vector vibrating in all directions. That is unpolarized light. Now, what is polarized light? Restricting. Here we divide like this: arrow components and dot components. Like this. This is polarized light. Here electric field vector vibrates parallel to the plane of incidence and perpendicular to the plane of incidence, like that. We are restricting. Here unpolarized light means what? It is combination of two components. Here unpolarized light means what? Electric field vector vibrating in all directions, perpendicular to the plane of incidence and parallel to the plane of incidence. But polarization means what? Restricting. Restricting the vibrations of light waves to one plane, parallel to the plane of incidence or perpendicular to the plane of incidence. That only polarization. Here last class already explained Brewster's law. What is that? Here at a particular angle of incidence, reflected light ray is completely polarized. What is that Brewster's law? Mu is equal to what? Tan IP. Mu is equal to how much? Tan IP. What is mu? Refractive index of medium. What is IP? IP represents what? Polarizing angle. At polarizing angle, what happened? Reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular. Reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular, and also explained Malus law. What is that? Here according to Malus law, here suppose we have two, here now we do problems on polarization, that is why again I am explaining. Now suppose this is unpolarized light. Unpolarized light incident on the tourmaline crystal, tourmaline crystal, like this. If the unpolarized light incident on the crystal, that is called what? Polarizer. This is polarizer. On the time, here what happened? Here this crystal absorbs the one component, absorbs one component. We are getting polarized light. We are getting polarized light. Suppose intensity is I naught, amplitude is A naught. Here we are getting polarized light. Here amplitude becomes what? I naught by 2. Amplitude becomes I naught by 2. Intensity becomes what? A naught by root 2. Intensity becomes A naught by root 2. Now this is polarizer. If polarized light incident on the one more tourmaline crystal, that is called what? Analyzer. Now we have transmission axis. This is transmission axis. If the angle between transmission axis of polarizer and analyzer is theta, on that time according to Malus law, here intensity becomes what? Here intensity becomes here A naught by root 2 cos theta. A naught by root 2 cos theta. Intensity becomes what? Here amplitude becomes A naught by root 2 cos theta. Intensity becomes what? I naught by 2 cos square theta. I naught by 2 cos square theta. Is it clear? Now according to Malus law, here intensity, here suppose I naught intensity unpolarized light incident on the polarizer, it absorbs one component. That is why amplitude becomes what? A naught by root 2, intensity becomes what? I naught by 2. After that again we are keeping one more polarizer, one more tourmaline crystal. On that time according to Malus scientist, intensity through the analyzer is directly proportional to what? Cos square theta. What is theta? Angle between, theta is the angle between transmission axis of polarizer and analyzer. Intensity proportional to cos square theta. Intensity proportional to what? Cos square theta. What is theta? Angle between polarizer and analyzer. Polarizer and analyzer. Now here I naught by 2 intensity incident on the analyzer, on that time intensity transmitted, how much we are getting intensity here? I naught by 2 cos square theta, I naught by 2 cos square theta. What is theta? Here angle between transmission axis of polarizer and analyzer, angle between transmission axis of polarizer and analyzer. Now depends on these formulas only we have problems on polarization. Is it clear? Brewster's law. What is Brewster's law? Here unpolarized light incident on the substance, glass or anything, here on the time some part of light is reflected, some part is refracted. At a particular angle of incidence, at a particular angle of polarization, reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular. Reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular. This particular angle of incidence is called what? Angle of polarization. Now mu is equal to how much? Tan IP. Mu is equal to tan IP. What is mu? Mu is the refractive index of glass. Suppose if it is glass, here unpolarized light incident on the glass. Now refractive index of glass is equal to what? Mu is equal to tan IP. What is IP? Polarizing angle. What happened at polarizing angle? Reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular. Reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular. Here we have question like this. Angle of incidence at which reflected light is totally polarized for reflection from air to glass. Here what we are getting now? We want to calculate angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. Reflected light is totally polarized. That particular angle of incidence is called what? Angle of polarization. Here reflected light is completely polarized. So that particular angle of incidence is called what? Angle of polarization. Now according to Brewster's law, here refractive index how much? Refractive index is n. According to question, refractive index of glass how much? N. Now from this mu is equal to n. Now according to Brewster's law, mu is equal to how much? Tan IP. From this mu is equal to tan IP. Mu is equal to how much? Tan IP. From this mu value how much? N. N is equal to tan IP. From this IP is equal to how much? Tan inverse of n. IP is equal to how much? Tan inverse of n. So that only correct answer. We have option IP tan inverse n. Is it clear? Reflected light is totally polarized. What is question now? Angle of incidence at which reflected light is totally polarized for reflection from air to glass is. So angle of polarization is I, refractive index is n. So what is the answer now? Angle of polarization is nothing but what? Angle of incidence. Now what is the answer now? Tan inverse n. Tan inverse n. What we have question? A light ray is incident on a transparent medium, mu is equal to how much? 1.732. Now at the polarizing angle, we want to calculate angle of refraction. Angle of refraction. How we calculate now? Polarizing mu is equal to 1.732. Mu is equal to how much? 1.732. 1.732 is nothing but what? Root 3. Here angle of refraction. Where here what is given here? A light ray is incident on a transparent medium of mu at the polarizing angle. At polarizing angle what happened? Reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular. Reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular like this. Here it is medium. Now this is reflected ray, this is refracted ray. These two are perpendicular. This is incident ray like this. Now it is refracted ray. It is refracted ray. We want to calculate angle of refraction. R is equal to how much? This is R like this. Now according to laws of reflection, angle of incidence is equal to what? Angle of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Now reflection what we take now? Let it be R dash. Let it be R dash. Which angle of incidence here? It is polarizing angle. So according to Brewster's law, we calculate. Brewster's law what is that? Mu is equal to tan I. Mu is equal to what? Tan I. According to that, here mu is equal to tan I. Mu is equal to tan IP. Mu is equal to how much? Tan IP. According to question, mu value how much? Root 3. For which angle? tan value, for which angle tan value becomes root 3? Tan 30 how much? Tan 30, 1 by root 3. Tan 60, sin 60 by cos 60. So, tan 60 is root 3. So, now tan IP is equal to tan 60. Now, IP is equal to what? Polarizing angle is equal to what? 60 degrees. Now, according to laws of reflection, angle of incidence is equal to what? Angle of reflection. So, R dash is equal to IP. R dash is equal to IP is equal to how much? 60 degrees. Here at polarizing angle, reflected and diffracted rays are perpendicular. You remember, ఇక్కడ మనకు ధ్రువణ కోణం, ఈ ధ్రువణ కోణం వద్ద ధ్రువణ కోణం వద్ద మనకి ఏమవుతుంది? refracted rays are perpendicular. So that's why from diagram what we write now? R dash plus 90 plus R is equal to 180 degrees. From this R dash how much? R dash how much? 60 degrees. 60 plus 90 plus R is equal to what? 180 degrees. From this R dash is equal to 180 minus 150. How much now? 30 degrees. ఇక్కడ మనకి పోలరైజింగ్ యాంగిల్ వద్ద రిఫ్రాక్టివ్ ఇండెక్స్ ఎంత? 1.732. వక్రీభవన గుణకం ఇచ్చాడు. అప్పుడు మనకు వక్రీభవన కోణం కావాలి అంటే ముందు మనం ఈ పోలరైజింగ్ యాంగిల్ కనుక్కుంటాం. పోలరైజింగ్ యాంగిల్ ఎలా కనుక్కుంటాం మనం? హౌ వి క్యాలిక్యులేట్ పోలరైజింగ్ యాంగిల్? విత్ ద హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ Brewster's law. What is Brewster's law? Here mu is equal to what? Tan IP. So we know angle of polarization according to laws of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to what? Angle of reflection. So you must remember at polarizing angle, reflected and diffracted rays are perpendicular. Reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular. So what is the answer now? 30 degrees. Here a ray of light in air incident on a glass plate at polarizing angle of incidence. At polarizing angle of incidence, it suffers a deviation of how much? 22 degrees on entering glass. Angle of polarization. Angle of polarization. Here deviation given. Deviation how much? 22 degrees. We want to calculate angle of polarization. Angle of polarization how much? IP. Here already I told that here at polarizing angle, reflected and diffracted rays are perpendicular. At polarizing angle, reflected and diffracted rays are perpendicular. So according to that, now this is unpolarized light, like this. Angle of polarization. Angle of polarization, what happened? Reflected and diffracted rays are perpendicular. Reflected and diffracted rays are perpendicular, like this. Now angle of reflection how much? R dash. According to our theory, according to laws of reflection, now angle of refraction how much? R. So on that time, here from this, here deviation is equal to how much we write? Here R is equal to, here deviation is equal to I minus R. Deviation, light ray travels from rarer to denser medium. So light ray travels from what? Rarer to denser medium. So deviation is equal to what? I minus R. Deviation is equal to how much? I minus R. From this, here according to laws of reflection, R dash is equal to what? IP. R dash is equal to IP. And also here according to laws of light ray travels from rarer to denser medium. So deviation is equal to what we write? I minus R. What is R? Angle of refraction. From this, R is equal to what we write? I minus D. R is equal to how much? I minus D. But from diagram, here R dash plus 90 plus R is equal to how much? 180 degrees. From this, here R dash plus 90 plus R is equal to what? 180 degrees. R dash how much? IP, polarizing angle, and R value how much here? IP minus D only. From this 90 plus how much here? IP minus D is equal to what? 180 degrees. From this IP plus IP, 2IP. 2IP is equal to 180 minus 90 plus D. From this 2IP is equal to 180 minus 90, how much? 90 plus d, how much? According to question, deviation is 22 degrees. Deviation is 22 degrees. From this, angle of polarization is equal to 90 plus 20, 110, 112, 112 by 2. 112 by 2, how much? 2 ones, 2 5s, 10, 6. What is the answer now? 56 degrees. Is it clear? Here we have option 90, 56, 68 and 0. What is the answer now? 56 degrees only correct. Is it clear? Understand? Here what is given question? Light ray, a ray of light in air is incident on what? Glass plate at polarizing angle of incidence. Suffers a deviation 22 degrees on entering glass, angle of polarization. Here మనకి ఇక్కడ డీవియేషన్ ఇచ్చాడు, మనకు యాంగిల్ ఆఫ్ పోలరైజేషన్ కావాలి. అప్పుడు ఎలా చేస్తాం మనం? ఎట్ ఏ పర్టికులర్ యాంగిల్ ఆఫ్ పోలరైజేషన్ వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్? రిఫ్లెక్టెడ్ అండ్ రిఫ్రాక్టెడ్ రేస్ ఆర్ పర్పెండిక్యులర్. సో అకార్డింగ్ టు దట్ హియర్ what we write now? Here first of all, loss of reflection r dash is equal to what? IP. Here angle of incidence is equal to what? Angle of reflection. So and deviation is equal to I minus r. Why I minus r? By taking light ray travels from what? Rarer to denser medium. Light ray travels from rarer to denser medium. So deviation is equal to I minus r. R is equal to what? I minus d. What is I here? Angle of polarization. And from diagram, r dash plus 90 plus r is equal to what? 180 degrees. So we substitute. So what is the answer now? Polarizing angle 56 degrees. The critical angle for total internal reflection, TIR. TIR represents what? Total internal reflection. Critical angle for total internal reflection for a substance is 45 degrees. For a substance is 45 degrees. Now for a substance is 45 degrees. The polarizing angle for the substance is polarizing angle for the substance, for this substance, polarizing angle for the substance is in brackets tan 54 degrees 44 minutes is equal to root 2. In problem only given. Now how we calculate here? What is given? Critical angle given. Critical angle how much? 45 degrees. Critical angle means what? Sandigdha konam. Now polarizing angle for this substance. Manaki dhruvana konam kavali. Polarizing angle IP is equal to how much? IP is equal to how much? How we calculate now? Critical angle given. Critical angle. So what is that? Mu is equal to how much? 1 by sin c. You already studied in ray optics. Relation between refractive index and critical angle, what is that? Mu is equal to what? 1 by sin c. From this, now 1 by sin 45. Sin 45 how much? 1 by root 2. So 1 by root 2. How much we are getting? Root 2. Now 1 by root 2, how much? Root 2. Mu is equal to how much we got? Root 2. Mu is equal to root 2. Now polarizing angle. So according to Brewster's law, mu is equal to what? Tan IP. From this Brewster's law, mu is equal to tan IP. Mu is equal to how much? Tan IP. Now according to question, how much we got mu now? Mu is equal to root 2. For which angle? Tan value root 2. Already in question given, what is given? Tan 54 degrees 44 minutes. Tan 54 degrees 44 minutes is equal to what? Root 2. That's why tan IP is equal to tan 54 degrees 44 minutes. That's why angle of polarization how much now? Angle of polarization, therefore angle of polarization is equal to 54 degrees 44 minutes. 54 degrees 44 minutes. unpolarized light of intensity, unpolarized light of intensity, I naught is incident on a polarizer, is incident on a polarizer, and the emerging light, strikes a second polarizing filter with its axis at 45 degrees, to that of the first, The intensity of emerging beam, the intensity of emerging beam unpolarized light of intensity I naught is incident on a polarizer, and the emerging light strikes a second polarizing filter with its axis how much? 45 degrees to that of the first. Intensity of emerging beam, how we calculate now? Like this. Suppose this is first filter or first crystal, incident on a polarizer. Polarizer means what? Here unpolarized light incident on the crystal, that is called what? Polarizer. After that we are getting analyzer. Here now the emerging light strikes a second polarizing filter with its axis at 45 degrees to that of the first. Here transmission axis of, here angle between these two axes how much? 45 degrees. Now here intensity how much? I naught. Now we want to calculate, suppose here we are getting I1, here we are getting I2. Understand question? Unpolarized light of intensity I naught is incident on a polarizer. This is polarizer or first filter, and emerging light strikes a second polarizing filter. How much? With its axis at 45 degrees to that of the first. Now theta is 45 degrees. Intensity of emerging beam. They are asking I1 or I2? They are asking I2. Intensity of emerging beam. Now we want to calculate I2 like this. Now I1 value how much? First of all, here if unpolarized light incident on the tourmaline crystal, it absorbs one component, so intensity becomes off. I1 value how much? I naught by 2. Now I1 is equal to I naught by 2. Now we want to calculate I2. I2 is equal to how much? I1 cos square theta. How? According to Malus law. I2 is equal to how much? I1 cos square theta. That's why here I2 is equal to I1 how much? I naught by 2 cos square 45 degrees. Cos 45 how much? 1 by root 2. Cos square 45 how much? 1 by 2. So we are getting I naught by 2 into 1 by 2. How much now? I naught by 4. That only answer. We have options I naught by 2, I naught by 4, I naught by 3. So, which option correct now? I naught by 4 only correct. Is it clear? Understand? What is given? Unpolarized light of intensity I naught is incident on a polarizer and emerging light strikes the second filter with its axis at 45 degrees to that of the first. Here angle between transmission axis of first filter and second filter is 45 degrees. First of all, unpolarized light incident on the polarizer, immediately what happened? It absorbs one component, so intensity becomes off. Intensity becomes off. Amplitude becomes what? Suppose here A naught is amplitude, here it becomes what? A naught by root 2, like that. Now, present problem no need amplitude, but intensity only. Now, height 2, we want to calculate intensity of emerging beam. Intensity of emerging beam, like this. So, in examination no need to draw diagrams. So, directly you do. For understanding purpose only I am drawing diagrams. No need these diagrams. First you understand this. I1 becomes what? I naught by 2. I2 becomes what? I1 cos square theta. I1 cos square theta. How? According to Malus law. So, I1 how much? I naught by 2 cos square 45. So, what is the answer now? Cos 45 how much? 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 whole square how much? 1 by 2. What is the answer now? I naught by 4. The axes of the polarizer and analyzer are the axis of the polarizer and analyzer are inclined to each other at 60 degrees. If the amplitude of polarized light emergent through analyzer is E. Through analyzer is A. Now, we want to calculate amplitude of unpolarized light incident on the polarizer. The amplitude of unpolarized light, unpolarized light incident on polarizer is like this. Here what we have question? First you understand question. Axes of the polarizer and analyzer are inclined to each other at 60 degrees. You know that polarizer means what? Both are crystals only, tourmaline crystals. Example, we are taking tourmaline crystal. Both are tourmaline crystal only. If unpolarized light incident on the crystal, that is called what? Polarizer. If polarized light incident on the crystal, that is called what? Analyzer. Now, here like this. This is first polarizer. Next one, analyzer. This is polarizer, analyzer. Now, here suppose amplitude how much we are taking A naught. Here amplitude becomes what? A naught by root 2. A naught by root 2. This is, let it be A1. Here A2. Why A naught by root 2? It absorbs one component. So, it becomes what? A naught by root 2. Theta how much here? Axis of polarizer and analyzer inclined to each other at how much? 60 degrees. So, theta is 60 degrees. Now, if the amplitude of light emergent through analyzer, here A2 value given according to question, A2 value how much? A. Now, amplitude of unpolarized light incident on the polarizer. We want to calculate A naught value. A naught be the amplitude of unpolarized light. A naught be the amplitude of unpolarized light. First you take like that. Let A naught be the amplitude of unpolarized light. So according to our theory, A1 is equal to how much? A naught by root 2. Now A2 how much from this? A2 is equal to A1 cos theta. A2 value how much? A1 cos theta. According to our theory, A2 is equal to A1 cos theta. But according to problem, A2 is equal to what? A. So from this, A into A1 how much? A naught by root 2 cos theta, cos 60 degrees. Now from this, here what we are getting? A is equal to A naught by root 2 into cos 60 how much? 1 by 2. We do cross multiplication. A naught is equal to how much? 2 root 2 A. Amplitude of unpolarized light how much? We want to calculate amplitude of unpolarized light. How much? What is the answer now? A naught is equal to how much? 2 root 2 A. A naught is equal to how much? 2 root 2 A. That only answer. That option only there. Next question. Important one. Previous entrance examination question. Unpolarized light of intensity, unpolarized light of intensity 32 watt per meter square, 32 watt per meter square passes through 3 polarizers, passes through 3 polarizers such that the transmission axis of the last polarizer is crossed with first, such that the transmission axis of the last polarizer is crossed with first, if the intensity of emerging light, intensity of emerging light, intensity of emerging light is 3 watt per meter square. 3 watt per meter square. The angle between the axis of first 2 polarizers, the angle between first 2 polarizers is angle between here the axis of first 2 polarizers is. First you understand question. Now what we have question? Unpolarized light of intensity 32 watt per meter square passes through 3 polarizers. We have 3 polarizers. Here transmission axis of last polarizer is crossed with first, like this. Suppose now we have 3 polarizers. This is first one. Now here suppose this is second one. Fourth one is like this, crossed with the first, like this. Here transmission axis of first polarizer crossed with the last polarizer. Here last polarizer is crossed with the first. Means what? Suppose this here angle between first two polarizers is theta 1, second polarizer is theta 2. So anyhow, theta 1 plus theta 2 how much? 92 degrees, 90 degrees. Here I naught, here intensity how much by taking I naught, here intensity how much I1, here I2, now this is I3, like this. Here we are getting, we take unpolarized light, here polarized light, polarized light, polarized light, polarized light. Is that clear? Now, if the intensity of emerging light is 3 watt per meter square, 3 watt per meter square, I naught value how much? 32. Here how many polarizers we have? 3 polarizers. First one, second one, third one. We have 3 polarizers. Now, intensity of emerging light is 3 watt per meter square. Which one? What is that value? I3. I3 is 3 watt per meter square. Angle between first two polarizers. Angle between first two polarizers. So, according to here our theory, I naught value how much? I naught is 32 watt per meter square. I naught value is 32 watt per meter square. I3 how much? I3 is 3. I3 is equal to 3 watt per meter square. Now, what is question now? Angle between first two polarizers. First two polarizers what we take? Now, let theta 1 be the, theta 1 is the angle between first two polarizers, theta 2 be the angle between second and third polarizers. But according to question, theta 1 plus theta 2 how much? 90 degrees. Why? Given, what is given here? Transmission axis of last polarizer is crossed with the first. Crossed means what? Perpendicular. So, from this, theta 1 plus theta 2 is equal to 90 degrees. Theta 1 plus theta 2 is equal to how much? 90 degrees. Now, theta 2 is equal to what? 90 minus theta 1. Theta 2 is equal to how much? 90 minus theta 1. Is it clear? What is theta 1? Theta 1 is the angle between transmission axis of first and second polarizer. Theta 2 is the angle between transmission axis of second and third polarizers. Now, we want to calculate theta 1. Here, how we calculate now? According to our theory, I1 value how much? I naught by 2. I2 value how much? Here, now from this, here I1 is equal to how much? I1 is equal to I naught by 2. I2 is equal to how much? I2 is equal to I1 cos square theta. I1 cos square theta 1. I2 value how much? I1 cos square theta 1. And now we substitute now. I1 value how much? I2 is equal to I1 how much? I naught by 2 cos square theta 1. I naught by 2 cos square theta 1. From this, here I2 value how much? I2 value how much? I2 is I1 cos square theta 1. I1 is here I2 value how much? I2 is I1 cos square theta 1. Already we substituted I1 value how much? I naught by 2 cos square theta 1. Now I3 how much? I3 is equal to how much? I2 cos square theta 2. From this, is it clear? First you understood question now. I raise problem now. Now we know I2 value, but I3 is 3. I3 is 3. Here I3 is equal to I2 cos square theta 2. I3 is equal to how much? I2 cos square theta 2. But according to question I3 value how much? 3. Now we substitute now. Is equal to what? 3. From this, I3 is equal to I2 value how much? I naught by 2. I naught by 2 cos square theta 1 into cos square theta 2 is equal to what? 3. We substitute now. I naught value how much? 32. 32 by 2 cos square theta 1. Now theta 2 how much? 90 minus theta 1. So cos square 90 minus theta 1. Cos square 90 minus theta 1 is equal to what? 3. From this, 2 1s to 16s. Now from this, here 16 16 cos square theta 1. Now cos 90 minus theta 1 how much? Cos 90 minus theta 1 sin. Cos 90 minus theta 1 is sin theta 1. Now cos square 90 minus theta 1 how much? Sin square theta 1. Sin square theta 1. Sin square theta 1 is equal to what? 3. From this, what we write now? 4 into 4 sin square theta 1 cos square theta 1 is equal to what? 3. Now sin 2 theta how much? Sin 2 theta is 2 sin theta cos theta. According to that, what we write now? 4 into sin square 2 theta 1. Sin square 2 theta 1 is equal to what? 3. From this, sin square 2 theta 1 is equal to 3 by 4. We take square root on both sides. Sin 2 theta 1. Sin 2 theta 1 is equal to what? Root of 3 by 4. Root of 3 by 4. From this, here, now, root of 3 by 4 how much? Root 3 by 2. Root 3 by 2. First of all, I naught is the initial intensity. Now, I naught intensity incident on the polarizer, first polarizer, it becomes what? I1. I1 value how much? I naught by 2. After that, I2 value how much? I1 cos square theta 1. I3 value how much? I2 cos square theta 2. I2 cos square theta 2. From this only we are getting. Now, from this, here, sin 2 theta 1 is equal to what? Root 3 by 4. Here, sin 2 theta 1 is equal to root 3 by 2. Root 4 how much? 2. From this, for which angle sin value root 3 by 2? Sin 60 degrees. Sin 60 degrees. So, sin 2 theta 1 is equal to sin 60 degrees. Sin 60 degrees. From this, 2 theta 1 is equal to what? 60 degrees. From this, theta 1 is equal to what? 60 by 2. Now, 2 ones, 2 30s. What is the answer now? 30 degrees. Like this. Here, is it clear? Angle between transmission axis of first and second polarizer how much? 30 degrees. That only correct answer. Next question. A simple question. Two polarites are oriented with their transmission axis making angle of 30 degrees. Making angle of 30 degrees. Making angle of 30 degrees with each other. The fraction of incident unpolarized light is transmitted. I have a question like this. Here, two polarites are oriented with their transmission axis making angle of 30 degrees with each other. The fraction of incident unpolarized light is transmitted. Suppose this is first polarizer. After that, next one, this is second polarizer. Angle how much here? Transmission axis. Angle between, here theta how much angle we are taking? Theta. Here what we are getting? I naught. Here we are getting I1. Here we are getting I2. Like this. Now they are asking the fraction of incident unpolarized light is transmitted. Here they are asking question I2 by I naught is equal to how much? I2 by I naught is equal to how much? How we calculate now? I1 is equal to how much? I naught by 2. Here angle how much? Theta is 30 degrees. Theta is 30 degrees. From according to our theory, I1 is equal to how much? I1 is equal to I naught by 2. From this, I2 is equal to how much according to Malus law? I2 is equal to I1 cos square theta. I2 is equal to how much? I2 is equal to I1 cos square theta. From this, I2 is equal to, actually they are giving, question is fraction, but they are giving answer percentage given. Percentage of fraction given. Now first we calculate fraction. How much now? I2 is equal to, how much? I1 how much? I naught by 2 cos square 30 degrees. Cos square 30 degree. Cos 30 how much? Root 3 by 2. Cos square 30 how much? Root 3 by 4. I2 is equal to, from this, I2 is equal to I naught by 2. Cos square 30 how much? 3 by 4. So we are getting 3 by 8. 3 by 8 I naught. 3 by 8 I naught. From this, here I2 by I naught. I2 by I naught how much? 3 by 8. Fraction is 3 by 8, but percentage how much? Here fraction, percentage of fraction. 3 by 8 is fraction, but options they are giving percentage given. So multiply with 100% on both sides. So now I2 by I naught into 100% is equal to 3 into 100% by 8. From this, 300 by 8. 300 by 8. How much? 8. 8 3 is how much? 8 3 is 24. Remaining 60. 8 7 is 56. 4. 37.5%. 37.5%. Is it clear? Now fraction. Fraction is 3 by 8, but percentage. Percentage how much? 37.5%. We have options 37%, 37.5%, 3.36%, 36.5%. What is the answer now? 37.5% only correct. Is it clear? Understand? Question understand? What is given? Two polarites are oriented with their transmission axis making angle 30 degrees with each other. Angle between transmission axis of first and second polarizer is 30 degrees. Now we want to calculate a fraction of incident unpolarized light is transmitted. So we want to calculate I2 by I naught. I2 by I naught. So fraction is 3 by 8, but percentage how much here? 37.5%. Is it clear? Here I1 value how much? I1 is I naught by 2. I1 value is I naught by 2. I2 value how much? I1 cos square theta. How? According to Malus law. So I2 is equal to what? I1 cos square theta. I1 value how much? I naught by 2. Substitute now. Cos 30 how much? Root 3 by 2. So cos square 30 becomes what? 3 by 4. What we are getting now? 3 I naught by 8. So what is the answer now? 37.5%. We have a question. The polarites P1, P2 and P3 are arranged coaxially. The polarites P1, P2 and P3, P1, P2 and P3 are arranged coaxially, coaxially. The angle between P1 and P2 is 37 degrees. The angle between P1 and P2 is 37 degrees. The angle between P1 and P2 is 37 degrees. The angle between P2 and P3 is, here otherwise you write like this, find the angle between P2 and P3. Find the angle between P2 and P3. If intensity of emerging light, if intensity of emerging light is 1/4, intensity of emerging light is 1/4, quarter means what? 1/4. If intensity of emerging light is 1/4 of intensity of unpolarized light, intensity of unpolarized light. We have three polarites P1, P2, P3 are arranged coaxially. Now, angle between P1 and P2 is 37, angle between P2 and P3. Find the angle between P2 and P3. If intensity of emerging light is 1/4 of the intensity of unpolarized light. Here we have three polarites like this. So, just we draw a rough diagram 1, 2, 3 like this. This is θ1 and this is θ2. Here in examination no need to draw diagram, directly you do. Here angle between P1 and P2 how much? 37. So, here what we take now? I0. Here I1. Here what we are getting now? First two polarites is P1 and P2. P1 and P2 is 37 and angle between P2 and P3. Angle between P2 and P3 we want to calculate. Suppose this is P1, P2, P3 like this. θ1 is 37. We want to calculate θ2. Here we are getting I1, here we are getting I2, here we are getting I3. I1, I2, I3. I1 value how much according to our theory? I1 value how much? I0 by 2. I2 value how much? Here according to question, if the intensity of emerging light is 1/4 of the intensity of unpolarized light. Now I3 value, I3 is equal to, here I3 is equal to 1/4. Here 1/4 of the intensity of unpolarized light. What is intensity of unpolarized light? I0. So I3 is equal to 1/4 times of I0. From this I1 value how much? Here I1 is equal to I0 by 2. I1 value how much? I0 by 2. I2 value how much? I2 is equal to I1 cos square θ1. Here I2 is equal to what? I1 cos square θ1. I1 value how much? I0 by 2. So from this I2 is equal to I0 by 2 cos square 37. Cos 37 how much? 4/5. Remember that. Cos 37 how much? You know that 4/5. So from this here we substitute. Now I3 how much? I3 is equal to how much? I2 cos square θ2. From this I3 is equal to I2 cos square θ2. Now according to question I3 value how much? I0 by 4. Here is equal to I0 by 4. From this here we substitute I2 value. I2 value how much? I0 by 2 cos square 37. I0 by 2 cos square 37. Is it clear? Here first of all, here we have three polarites. First of all, we are getting, if unpolarized light incident on the first polarite, what happened? It absorbs. So I1 value how much? I0 by 2. After that, what is the angle between P1 and P2? θ1. So I2 is equal to what? I1 cos square θ1. How? according to Malus law. Now, I2 is equal to what? I1 cos square theta 1. Again, I2 value of much? I1 value of much? I0 by 2. We substitute now. I0 by 2 cos square 37. Now, cos 37 how much? 3 by 4. Cos 37 is 4 by 5. So, we are getting I0 by 2, 4 by 5 whole square, 16 by 25. 16 by 25, like that. Now, I2 value directly we substitute now. I2 value how much now? Here 16 by, here otherwise 2 ones, 2 8s. Now, I2 is equal to 8 I0 by 25. I2 value how much? 8 I0 by 25. We substitute here. Here from this, now we know I2. Here I3 value how much? I2 cos square theta 2. Here from this, I3 is equal to, from this, I3 is equal to, I2 value how much? 8 I0 by 25 cos square theta 2 is equal to I0 by 4. From this, I0 gets cancelled. Now, cos square theta 2 is equal to 25 by 8 into 4. From this, 25 by 32. Now, we take square root on both sides. From this, cos theta 2 is equal to how much? 5 by here root 32. From this, theta 2 is equal to what? Theta 2 is equal to, here theta 2 is equal to how much? Cos inverse 5 by root 32. Here cos inverse 5 by root 32. From this, root 32 what we write now? Root 32 means what? Root 16 into 2. From this, theta 2 is equal to cos inverse 5 by root 32 what we write? 16 into 2. So, 4 root 2. Root 16 how much? 4. So, 4 root 2. Now, theta 2 value how much? Cos inverse 5 by 4 root 2. That option only there. Here we have cos inverse 5 by 4 root 2, 4 by 5 root 2 also there. So, which option correct now? Theta 2 is equal to what? Cos inverse 5 by 4 root 2.